listening. Bear with me. It's the Colt, correct? Colt. Okay. Testing me. You got it yet? Of course, rain. Yeah, my bad. How could I do that? Jeez. Here comes the rain, and here comes Gamble and Finn, larger than live, the reality check here on Facebook Live. We've read now. Last week, I think we called this the indoor arena here at House Gamble. I think
got a new one now.
I think we're going to rename this the Thunderdome.
Okay.
Because of the activity that goes on under this roof, no one would believe it unless they saw it. The jousting, the battling,
right?
The fight after fight after
between
fight.
the Gamble boys.
Oh man,
yes.
Absolutely. And plus the Thunder and Lightning. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Glad to be here with you.
And I love how we couldn't wait till now to get outside, and now we can't get outside.
No, we can't
right?
get outside. Everything reopened up except the weather.
So I need to tell everybody, if you see me disappear for a couple minutes, there's a good reason. I have to go down, check the window well in my basement to make sure that the pond pump, which should be in every window well, is still pumping out the rain. So earlier today, my middle son Michael's like, and I thought I heard somebody outside. I had the window open.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell's going on? Well, that's because our basement was starting to flood. It was gushing in through the window well. So we have a pond pump there to ensure, and it's supposed to rain only till what, tomorrow night?
So I think through Thursday.
So they're talking about taking shifts at night, because what the hell are you going to do in the middle of the night? Somebody's going to get out there and check the pump.
That's great.
Here we are.
And I would tell you too, it's funny, I was thinking about this. We were talking about, how we've been so sick of seeing celebrities through all this stuff. Oh, we're in this together and blah, blah, blah. We're just sitting there thinking, God, just shut up. You are not in this with me. And it started following me on this progression. Because there have been times when we have been invited to be, let's say, in a celebrity golf outing.
Right. Okay. I felt bad for when I was in a group.
The people that we got paired up with. So we were considered these celebrities. I've never, ever, having done radio for, 25 years, as many years, the newspaper and everything.
Too many.
I've never thought, other than in those situations, that I was any sort of celebrity. And I finally figured out the difference in that all these people that are, on TV saying, oh, we're all on this, Tom Brady and all these other different Hollywood people, the hell with them, because to be honest with you, they're not in this with you because they don't go through what you go through. Because that's what you were telling me about your van issue today. Then you were telling me about the rain. I'm driving over here dealing with traffic to get here. All the different stuff that we are actually in together. And that's why.
And everybody's in that stuff. Normal people have to deal with that stuff every day. And I will tell you one quick one about a celebrity. I played in the Marty Brennaman Golf Classic one time down at Belterra. And George Vogel, who joins us on Thursday nights at about 11:50, he's our last call. Vogel was a celebrity in a group who had no idea who he was. And he wound up I said, dude, you don't have, so we wound up playing together
Just the two of you.
with another group. But no, nobody wants that stuff. You know what I mean?
And it's the ability, to share an experience. And, if it's not one thing, it's two. And that's why we are really in all of this together. And that's why this is fun for us to do, because it's eye level. It's not any of this other nonsense.
Well,
boy, go ahead.
Well, the worst thing about being a celebrity, too, is they assume that you're like the A golfer.
Oh, no.
And I used to just tell them right away, just so you're aware, I suck.
Yeah. Maybe I should go first.
Right.
I don't want to be the anchor because I'll end up being around your neck and down to the bottom of the lake. Now, big show tonight. We got lots to get to. We got to get the drinking game started. That usually starts organically with those of you who are watching. We don't know what the triggers are to make you drink. Typically been set up by our friend Lisa Ratterman. She has sort of established the rules. So I think last week she told me, I forget what it was we were doing, but she said you would have been completely shit-faced by about 7:15.
I thought it was saying,
maybe it was. I don't know.
I didn't feel like we did that.
Well, it's one of the biggest problems with radio to begin with is the thing. So the drinking game is underway. Since we're talking about drinking, and I don't have a drink in my hand, we're going to get to.
You just set up.
We're going to get to my boy Calvin. We're going to talk about graduation. We're going to talk about sports being back. Everything getting kind of reopened again. Maybe if we have a chance to revisit a topic from Thursday night when we were on WLW about work food, because that's going to take an odd turn. And also relationships, show and tell. We got a lot to do.
We do. And don't forget Thursday nights, the reality check with Gamble and Finn 9 to midnight on 700 WLW. We'll preview this coming Thursday show. And then we kind of, we're pulling a tough one next week. It's Memorial Day.
Yeah.
We're actually filling in at 3 o'clock. And then we're busting it here at 7, right? So we're on a couple. Now, by the way, before we get started, a game-worn, the Reds' worst opening day pitcher in history, Jimmy Haynes. You know your season's going to be horrific when Jimmy Haynes gets the ball on opening day. You've got a local band shirt,
yeah,
right?
I just got this in the mail today. My boys in Lift the Medium. I saw this for sale. I love this style shirt. I bought one from those guys, an opportunity to support the band. I really dig this new logo. They've added a
I'm not going to lie. You might have gone a size too low.
What are you talking about? Well, it does make
it's a bit.
It makes my boobs look
Well,
great.
that's my point. Is it's a bit snug.
Well, I didn't realize
What
that.
size
They didn't
is
have
that?
a 3X. This is a 2X.
2X?
But I'm working my way down. Pretty soon I'll be able to, go camping and put a tent pole on this bad boy. Shut up anyway.
My bad.
It's none of your
Just
goddamn
you want
business.
me to be honest, right?
No, I don't. I don't really think I do. Anyway, but Lift the Medium has these shirts out, as a lot of bands have their merch and their gear out for sale.
That sounds like maybe a man's ear you can come up with. Lift the Medium, right?
Yeah, it lifts
Right,
and
it lifts.
separates. In fact, I'm going to stand over here now. Anyway, the drive over here, again, lovely. I would like to thank whoever is in charge of Kentucky DOT.
Rain today. They can't do construction in the rain.
All the way, I split the difference. I didn't go the way that hung me up for an hour last week. I decided to go 275 east, past all of that, and of course there was no traffic where there was before.
Right,
but now it's down to 2 lanes east going out toward the airport, which is great. So Forrest Gump, or whoever's in charge of this project, thanks so much. Well done. And that goes back to some of the same bullshit that we all have to put up
Let me give you a news
when we're out and
flash.
about.
Things here in Kentucky, my friend, that's why I moved here. It's more rural.
Is that
Things
what it
move
is?
a little
Yeah.
slower,
More laid back.
and I like it.
Well, I'm from
So you
Kentucky.
get your ass back to Ohio.
I was born
and
in
listen to your governor.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
The 1 year is just as bad.
But didn't you
by
have
the
a
way.
drinking game for him for his show
Oh,
today?
well, remember I told you for Governor DeWine last week, it was anytime he said best practices.
Yeah.
Today, you could go safe, and he dropped a new one called, I guess if you were not following protocol and you own a bar or restaurant, you're an outlier.
Yeah.
Who uses outlier? Somebody use that in like the 40s?
Yeah.
What is an outlier? Seriously, I even had to listen again. I can only take about 7 or 8 minutes today.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, there's a whole separate drinking game. All right.
There we go.
So, speaking of drinking, I want to toast to 2 that we lost this past week. Jerry Stiller, who you probably know as George's dad on Seinfeld, and also then played the exact same guy on King of Queens,
Right.
which was fantastic.
Right.
Very funny guy. But then just in the last couple of days, Fred Willard. I don't know what you know about Fred Willard, but he was in all those Christopher Guest movie, from Spinal Tap to most,
Yeah, I know.
all the Best in Show.
You know me, I'm such a movie buff. I could I've got you want me to go get his biography
Yeah,
right now?
you have no idea who I'm talking about. But he was the guy. He was perfect at capturing knowing absurdity. And Best in Show was all a parody. It was a Spinal Tap of dog shows, and he did some of the funniest stuff ever. And I don't know how the people that are on screen with him keep from busting out laughing. But that's what made me. I was thinking about all the dog show stuff, and I got this picture I want to share with you of Calvin.
Okay.
Because
All right.
I got this dog. It's been 2 weeks now.
All right.
2 weeks last Friday, and I got my boy Calvin, and I was thinking there was something. He carries the little rawhide stick around in his mouth, but he carries it around where it sticks out of his mouth.
I've seen the picture.
Did you see the picture?
Yes,
and
I
it looks
did.
like a lit cigarette because
yeah.
it's got dirt on the end of it, or a joint. It kind of looks like he's walking around with a joint in his mouth. So he has a new nickname. I think you should be able to see it up here on the screen behind us. His new nickname, and this actually works out pretty well.
Yeah, did you come up with this or someone else?
Actually, it was because he was snooping around because he's got the beagle nose.
Right.
His nickname is Snoop. Can you see that, Fred?
I can, yes.
So his new nickname is Snoop because it looks like he has a joint in his mouth.
And that's apropos.
Do you know Snoop Dogg's real name?
I do not. I know he was a youth football coach out in California.
It is Calvin Broadus.
Oh, you're right.
That's his real name.
Okay.
So this is the greatest dog. He's so funny, but he always walks around like he's got it.
Now
And when I go outside, he always has a mouthful of weed. So
I heard you talking earlier to Minifin about Calvin.
yes.
And this disturbed me. You said, I can't think of anything worse than being a pet of yours and you leaving something in the cage that bears your scent for me as the pet to do what with? No wonder he busted out of the cage.
It's to make him feel like he's still there. It's part of it.
And you left in one of your socks.
One of my socks, and she said there's
At least it wasn't your underwear.
There's not much of that left. Hopefully it's not coming out of his balloon knot later on and having to be
Now, can I
cleaned up.
congratulate Minifin too? Right? Is it too early for that?
Absolutely.
Is it okay now? For graduating.
It's all good. Yesterday would have been her graduation ceremony. We had a very cool thing that was put together. Her mom and stepdad and I worked together to put together a parade that went through down our street and whatever. It was led by a couple of folks from the fire department.
Really
about 18 or 19 cars, friends, family, and whatnot. Just a honk and wave. They're doing a lot of that for birthdays for kids that can't celebrate their birthday. But she had no idea, so she was standing out front in her dress for pictures. And everybody went by honking and waving.
So she had no idea that they were coming.
No idea at all. It was great. So to anybody who might be watching that was part of that, thank you. It was pretty bad.
Well, you put together a really cool video that I was supposed to film something for, and you and I forgot about it. So my bad, Minifin. Wait, that was cool. Where they basically were a bunch of people, either you worked with, friends of yours, and people over the years that. And kind of recounted their memories.
Yeah, because they'd known her since she was a zygote, so it worked out great.
Many of them took the opportunity to rip your ass too, which was even better.
What a dick I am. But it was funny, like my buddy Kevin, and everybody's like, oh, how do you guys know them? He was our bartender back in the day when we were married, and before she was born, he was like the guy that we would go to Outback all the time there in Kenwood, and Brad was the kitchen manager. A lot of the friends that I've developed over the years when I moved back, well, he was. He's got 2 kids of his own now, but we would take her in there, and then we did the thing that now if somebody else did it, I would completely lose my mind. But we put the pumpkin seat up on it. We'd sit at the end of the bar and put it up there, and we did it, and we would sit there, and then when she was big enough to kind of get out of it, he picked her up, and she leaned over and kissed him on the cheek. He was her first kiss. Kevin. So it was kind of cool. So they were there. He brought his kids.
After hearing that, it's time to move on.
But it was pretty cool. So we did that, and then we watched the
that is cool.
The Obama. LeBron put this thing together. I think with different folks.
2 of my favorites.
And they did, but they did a whole thing that was geared right at the class of 2020. It was right in their wheelhouse, which means most adults had no idea what was going on for most of it. Obama said a few words at the end of it. There were a couple of little political shots in there, but you're never going to escape that completely.
No.
Megan Rapinoe was in there. She got a little bit political as well, again. But it spoke right at eye level to the class of 2020. And I was thinking about this, Fred. Because I walked by today when I was walking, Calvin, and there was a mom out front, and she was taking a picture of a little girl. She had a little pink hat, or her graduation, I don't forget what that hat's called, but she was graduating preschool. And so she was taking a picture. I guess they were going to do a thing. So I yelled, congratulations. And we spoke across the street. I said, but think about this. From now on, anybody who is class of 2020 anywhere has a common bond. It's not just you and the people you graduated with in your class. If you say, I graduated in 2020, no matter where you go the rest of your life, work, wherever, you now have a common bond.
I've heard this from a number of people. Why you can't appreciate that and what's going on right now, you will down the road when you look back, because hopefully you'll be the only class that will have to go through this.
As we said, we know it's not going to be back next year because it's not an election year.
Correct. Now, you mentioned a bar restaurant there. So we had last Thursday on the Reality Check on 700 WOW, and our good friend Jimmy Mooring, proprietor from the Holy Grail Banks. He joined us because they were able to open up, like a lot of them were, that had a patio on Friday, and I had a chance to catch up briefly with Jimmy today. And he said, kudos. He wanted to make sure he thanked the staff for working their butts off. And he did say to me, what he told us was he knew that essentially it would exceed capacity.
Demand would exceed capacity.
Thank you. I was missing that one word. Demand would exceed capacity. Well, I can tell you, and I didn't hear this from Jimmy, But he said everything, from his end went okay. But I talked to a buddy of mine who went down to the Holy. This was on the first night, which would have been Friday. And so my buddy went down, and the key to this whole thing was that the order, whatever, the protocol was trying to keep people, if there was a wait, you were to basically wait outside, social distance, all that.
Right.
So the way Jimmy and the Holy Grail had it set up, my buddy was number 60. So think about that. At this point, he was 60 in line. Went back to his car. That's what it was designed to do. Now, he also told me I was one of the few that went back to the car.
Nobody wanted to
Said
do
most
that.
people just hung
No,
around.
of course not. I want to go. I want what I want when I want it.
When he came back, there was 138.
Yeah.
And remember, Jimmy said he's worked with us to build a crowd. Now you got to kind of. So let me give you my quick synopsis. And I would tell you this. This is they, meaning governors in this case. They've put these owners and restaurant bar in a bad position.
No win.
Terrible
No win
position. They
situation.
can't win. And I would tell you, the cops, if you're a police, you don't want to deal with this. Are you kidding me? You got enough problems. But so what you've got is, and I think this, I would tell you, I think younger people, pick whatever age you want, 20 to 35. They're more media savvy, they follow stuff, and I would tell you, they don't think that this is going to impact them. And in most cases, it probably won't.
Well, maybe not in the near term, but
Correct.
Fibrosis in the lungs, it's all still out there now. But it could just be specters being thrown.
But you can't tell people, go home for 2 months. Now we're reopening. What do you expect them to do? You had to know this was going to happen. It was nice enough weather. They're chomping at the bit. So now you get Mayor Cranley. Consider yourself warned, or whatever the hell the exact phraseology. What does he expect? Now, don't misunderstand me. We said this, you and I said this for weeks. What I would tell you is, here's the protocol. Either follow it, or if they don't, then go out and shut them down. If you're not, but can you imagine what they want them now on the inside?
Yeah.
Sit down. Don't stand up. Sit at your table. I mean, some of this stuff is unrealistic.
Well, and it's look. Is it the experience you wanted it to be? And if you go out and just say the hell with it, because there were pictures of a lot of places. I think the Blind Pig was the one that really took the big beating because nobody was paying attention to the rules that had been established. So as we've said before, if you will not pay attention to those rules, you will cause the place you are trying to support to get shut down.
Correct.
Hardcore. So it ultimately comes down to the decisions you're willing to make. If you couldn't sit and wait another 2 weeks maybe to see, because here's what I don't want to see happen. And some of the states, they've come out with reports, and it's not biased media to one side or the other. These appear to be neutral reports. Georgia and a couple of the other states, they have not seen the spike that they thought. The spikes are coming from the places that are still quarantining. But again, what do you believe? It's completely up to you. All I would say is if you can't wait an extra couple of weeks and you went to a place in this past week and all of a sudden they said, well, yeah, somebody tested positive, and now all of those people that refuse to do or keep the distance at least, now they have it, and then you go out, and then someone at your church or someone here or there ends up with it because of you. Do you want to be that person?
Well,
do you want to be the person they drill it down to? Do you want to be that person?
Now,
I do not.
Did you hear about the barber shop in Detroit?
Yes.
I don't know if it was Detroit, but this was in Michigan, where basically they sent the 2 officers because it had opened up early, and they refused. And now you're going to get into 2 things, I truly believe. They went there, and an elder man who was the owner had done all the protocol. He'd done everything, and they said, we're not shutting him down. And you get into what? Constitutional right.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what's coming. That's coming next. And then the worst part of this for me is, if we're shutting you down again, we're ordering you to do this, people are not going to stand for any more orders. And I'm not condoning, I'm just telling you.
I already told you what's coming.
Well, and I think you would agree, it's been delayed from what you thought it would be, correct? You thought the anarchy you thought would set in a little earlier, but I'm telling you, if this happens. And the other thing you have to remember too, if you're a bar or restaurant owner and you open and you bring your employees back, then all of a sudden again you're going to send them off. I mean, you can't do that with these.
You're not going to be able to yo-yo back and forth like that. And to be honest with you, I'm fucking sick of talking about this. I am sick to death of it because the thing is, just like everything else, because everything goes immediately went political. This nonsense with Cranley,
I know.
him out with his friends, and the
I
whole
know.
thing, and then it just goes into this whole other thing.
know.
It's not about politics. It really isn't. I'm just tired of everything turning into that, and I'm sick of. To be honest with you, I'm sick of talking about it. But
Well, let's not talk about it.
everything goes there. But that's what we're talking about. Everything
It
goes
does,
there.
but we don't have to talk about that.
No,
Now, I
we
did
don't.
see this today, though, quickly before you change the subject. You've heard of acne, right?
Yeah,
Now there's
I've heard of it.
Maskne.
Oh, is there? Well,
Yeah, I literally turned on the television today, flipped off a Chicago PD for a minute, and if you need somebody around the banks to fix things, Sergeant Hank Vogt, he gets my vote.
hang on, let me write that down.
VOGT. Hank.
Hank Vogt.
You know what?
Got
He
it.
does things the way. If I were a cop, and I wish I were a cop, honestly, I'd like to be an investigator.
That would be great.
I'd like to be a private investigator. I'm just saying,
Private dick
a detective.
instead of a public one.
No, I do things the way they should be done. Continue, please.
No, and so I was just going to say, we're not going to change anybody's mind. You
No,
are going
you're
to
correct.
do what you are going to do. Again, all we have ever asked: use your head for more than a hat rack. Now, as a way of resetting, it is Gamble and Finn. We are at the House Gamble. We are here for in the Thunderdome because of the weather. Ideally, looking to get back outdoors.
Yes.
Here on the back 40, which is nice. You can find us Thursday nights, 9 to midnight, 700 WLW for the reality check. On Monday nights, we do this on Facebook Live.
Correct.
Really working to develop this into a much bigger
We are.
sort of thing where we can get in and we can dig into the things that you want to dig into and share a little bit of what's been going on with us, over the past week. So we're thrilled that you're along for the ride. Jason Arbenz, a buddy of mine, my boy Scott Hess out of Chicago is watching. And we invite you, stick around for the very end, please, for show and tell. This is something we do every week where we show you something cool that we have. And this is definitely a show and tell you're not going to want to miss.
Maybe. Depends on how you look at it.
Eric's
Yes.
watching, Dan and Kim and Matt, Tina, Chuck Day, Chad Wild, my boy from Kroger, Ernie Brown, the Fat Man is
Fat Man,
watching.
how about that?
The Fats is watching. Scott, a handful of others. We appreciate it. Maggie Curtis, thank you guys for checking the show out. But sports were back also.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean,
Sort of, but it was kind of weird.
Weird, very weird. You had NASCAR, which just got that aggressive. They're doing 4 races in 11 days. They were at Darlington. And I happened to flip on the TV. Again, Chicago PD does have commercials. So I flipped over to NBC this morning, to the Today Show. And they had this dude from Darlington on the track. No one there wearing a mask. Really? There's no one there. But it was weird. The dude who won, you're celebrating to no one.
Yeah.
So you had NASCAR, you had the golf, you had kind of
That was
stuff.
okay.
That was
golf thing
fun, but that was
yeah,
more
it was
of
for fun, a fundraiser.
You had soccer. That you caught some of the soccer.
I watched
right?
some. I think it was the Bundesliga German
that's correct.
leagues, and I saw 2 different games where they were playing with no fans in the stadium.
just
So
weird.
all you were hearing was the communication, everybody yelling back and forth.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this: for those of you who hate soccer or football, the one thing that you did notice with no crowd, when a guy went down, he got right back up.
Oh,
there
there wasn't the theatrics
Oh, he
that
didn't
there
break
normally is.
his leg
Right.
in 9 places
Right.
and then get up and run
Well-
off a minute and a half later. They got right back up.
So you had the UFC again. You had the Korean baseball organization that ESPN has picked up, and it's kind of weird. They're showing the games obviously in Korea, and then they're having their announcers, the same crews for baseball, do it over here.
yeah.
I'm
I'm not that in need of baseball.
No. Well, you can't.
For
to
that.
me, if you can't root, to me, you gotta have some level
Right.
of a rooting interest. But let me tell you, the weird thing is, so now 67 pages of the protocol
for
them to
baseball.
bring back Major League Baseball.
No spitting, is that right?
Well, you can't. No spitting, no seeds, no
Tobacco.
tobacco. I mean, they're going to have, and some of this stuff, if you heard some of the stuff about Little League and that, it's ridiculous. I would tell you, if you're going to try to implement these rules, now think about this. The catcher has to stand 6 feet behind the plate. Does anybody who came with this rule ever watch the baseball game in Little League? Every pitch will hit the ground. Okay, wait a minute. The umpire is standing behind the pitcher. They want the baseball wiped off after every pitch.
Wow.
So there are time limits. Can you see this? Okay, that's it, boys. At the end of the 2nd inning, it's 3-2. You're done.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Okay, well, how about this?
Wait, you can't high five.
Well,
I
yeah.
mean,
How about
why
can you
play?
still smack the ass?
Come on.
That's the
I mean,
baseball
come
player's
on,
favorite.
man.
No, so here's a better rule. Instead of wiping off the ball before every pitch, how about you just try not to catch it in your mouth?
Right. Well, have you thought about this? They talk about a foreign substance on the ball, so if they're putting it on, it'll be for every pitch.
Yeah.
There will be no hits.
I'm sorry, there was some Purell on the ball,
Come
and he was
on.
throwing a wicked curve.
And I guess
And what if
that's
the ball gets past the catcher 6 foot behind the plate? I mean, every
tossing a new one. We got an endless
But no,
supply.
but I mean, aren't they? Oh, in Little League, you can't run on the overthrow.
Well, they have different rules.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, you'll steal on every. Little League, you normally can't get a lead, and you have to wait until they'll just come on.
Yeah,
Look,
you're really going to have to adjust. your pitches.
here's what I'm telling you. I don't like the no fans, but if you want to watch sports of some nature, you're going to get some of that. And I would tell you for Major League Baseball, if you want to have any chance of recapturing America's pastime, you better get back before the NFL starts.
Yeah.
When it's going to start, because you're behind them now, and you better not lose any more traction.
Yeah, I'm not holding out hope on that. I think the NFL is what everybody's focused on.
It is,
I
and,
really
and
do.
I think the NFL will start. They can start without fans because the economic model is much better, more TV favorable.
Yeah, and who was it? They were talking about having virtual fans in the stands and crowd noise and
We're
everything.
talking
else.
about Fox was talking about pumping it
and having
for the
virtual
team.
fans.
I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. I think that's that's better than what the
Do you really notice that,
WWE's
though?
do. Yes.
Well, no, the
WWE is brutal.
It's very tough.
Brutal.
Well, I got to tell you, that's all crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine being one of those WWE wrestlers because you need the crowd. I mean,
Yeah, you're going out there for that pop.
correct.
Well, and the same thing with soccer. I mean, soccer crowds in Europe, football crowds in Europe. I mean, that's what's driving the energy of
Oh,
the
no
room.
question.
It was very odd to
It's
watch,
weird.
but at least maybe there's a little bit of semblance of the next
I hope.
normal.
I
So
hope.
we shall see. A couple of other things.
Yes.
We were talking about this because people have been home now, sequestered to a degree with their loved ones. Their
In
significant,
this house, we are.
their significant other. I know, but I put loved ones in quotes because after about 8 or 9 weeks of this, you want to kill each other.
We're still going strong.
You're doing-
No
you guys are
issues.
doing-
Yeah,
but I
I've
think
got
a lot
good-
of
I've got
people-
good kids.
Yeah, a lot of people not so lucky, and you get tired of each other. But what about dating?
Well, no.
It's like right now I'm dating, and I would tell you it has taken a very
Yeah.
odd toll
Well-
on my relationship with someone I've been with for 3 years plus.
Been that long?
It's been 3 years plus.
I told you, I thought about this and I mentioned this to you because I'm thinking to myself, because I know people who really don't have a significant other. Can you imagine today trying to find one?
No.
I mean, so think about all the different things. So let's just say you met Susie and you contact Susie and you go, hey Susie, you want to go, you want to go
Yeah,
out?
go where?
Go away. You can't go to a bar, can't go to a restaurant, can't go to a sporting event, can't go to a movie, can't go to a concert, can't go to any entertainment, can't go to anywhere with people. In fact, technically, you're not even supposed to get together with Susie if you really.
No.
I mean, so you've got that. What about at work? How about people who were hoping they work for a large company, hoping to meet somebody at the office, and
You're not
now
supposed to be
everybody's
doing-
working
You're
remotely?
not supposed to be doing that anyway.
Oh, that's not. You're in a different department. It's
You're
okay.
not supposed to.
Hey, in Law and Order, they just transfer you.
Is that right?
They do. See, I'm learning life through my shows.
Not
It's
supposed
fun.
to be dipping your pink.
Well, okay,
dipping,
hang on.
dipping
Hang on.
your pen.
You can't
in
even
the
say it.
Company Inkwell.
Hang
Now,
on. You
I
can't
would-
say it. You're in radio.
I
Are
love.
you kidding me?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Everybody dipped their pen into anything.
Have
they
you
could
watched
find.
local TV
Yes.
news lately?
Well, here's the other thing, though.
Yes.
I love the phrase "dip your pen in the company inkwell" because, like, right now, your oldest son is going, "What are you talking about? What is an inkwell?"
Oh God.
You know,
Ink?
it's so funny. I was trying to teach. I'll never forget this. I was trying to teach Minnie Finn patience. I was trying to teach her a lesson about patience. I
Teach
said,
me while you're
There's
at
two
it.
ways you can go about this. I said, think about it like an ice train. There's some people that do one thing at a time, or then there's the people that just go back and forth and back and forth.
I would be back and forth.
And I have this whole thing about the patience and she goes, "What's an ice tray?"
Oh, yeah,
Oh my God.
No, there's no ice tray. Well, have you
know what
seen
an
this?
ice tray was?
Have you seen younger generation when they try to write? They try to write,
cursive?
handwrite, anything.
Cursive, yeah.
Hell, just write print.
No,
Because
there
they don't
isn't
do that.
You crazy
But
kids!
I
Why don't you learn
remember
to do
this.
things that we do?
I got this. I got this concept when I saw the eHarmony ad for
Yeah.
virtual.
Virtual,
And I'm thinking
yeah.
to myself, how would you even? I mean, don't
Hang
just
on.
just be quiet. Don't give me the answer you would give me here.
Okay.
How would you have a virtual date? other than you just talk to the other person, keep it quiet. I know what you're thinking. We talked about this.
Like
This is
something like this.
this is what. Yeah, this is when it gets late in the show on Thursday nights. We usually get it because it's the safe harbor, I think, by FCC standards, right?
Yeah.
We have no
Hey.
harbor here.
Right. You want to get on
I get it.
Match.com?
I get it. See, why do you always say your mind is just places it
Well,
doesn't.
you
need
knew
to
where
be.
it was going to go before you even
Of course
brought it
I
up,
did.
so I blame you.
Because you're so damn predictable.
I always.
But think about that. So okay, let's say you get on the virtual, you talk for a few minutes, and then what? You can't say let's go do this. What the hell do you
No.
do?
And I feel bad because they're trying to make the best of what is
Sure
just
they
an
are.
impossible situation, because it is. I mean, even all the swipe left, swipe right, all of those apps are built on ultimately the hookup.
Right.
You're
Sure.
looking to see if anybody's near you that wants to
Right.
bang or whatever. I mean,
I don't know even what you're talking about.
yeah. What is it? What's the
Tinder.
one? Tinder. Yeah, that was the one, which I think is a great name for that one, because yeah, you might as well just set yourself on fire.
And there's a bunch of young people who I obviously worry. There's another one too.
Oh, there's Bumble.
Oh, there's Bumble,
There's
yeah.
Tinder.
And it's great. I know this young guy, and he is so full of BS. He'll be like, "Oh, I just got a hit on whatever." I go, "Dude, when have you ever done anything with any of this?" And the answer, of course, is no.
No.
And he's like, "Oh, you know."
Well, anyway, but then
Yes.
they show the one guy, and he's just like, he's on the screen like this. And I'm like, oh man, this is brutal. But they should just shut it down for a
Yeah,
minute.
it's bad.
Anyway, but
I agree with you. I feel bad for people in that position.
and I like I said, me and my better half right now, it's awkward because you don't realize how much time, when it's new, there's everything to talk about. You're getting to know each other. You get to a certain point where you then have shared experiences. And we realize, we are smart enough to realize this, and we talk openly about it, is so much of what we do is talk about things that we've done together or that we're going to do.
Yeah.
And now 9 weeks into this, there hasn't been a lot that hasn't been Groundhog Day, day in, day out, and there is
everybody like that.
no plan. I mean, she got a puppy, I've now got a puppy, and that's what we talk about. And we realized last weekend that things were getting weird, and so we just talked it out. But if you can't see that, because we're both, of a certain age, we're both divorced, and neither one of us wants to put up with any bullshit. So that's what we've agreed. If we have an issue, we are going to talk it out.
I wouldn't go so far as to say she doesn't. She's with you.
Well,
I mean, you have to. I was going to say
the customary bullshit.
Maybe it's the 3+ years of just she's like, oh my god.
No, I told her. I said, look, here's a parachute. Feel free to take it whenever you want. I know I'm not, the maybe the easiest person to get along with at certain times, but I will always be honest, because I will never not.
Correct.
And if I'm pissed, I'm going to tell you.
Wait, I mean, people are
I'm
not
pissed.
People are not always honest.
It does happen.
Really?
Yeah, I'll talk to you a little bit more about it after.
Okay, I've never met
There's a
anybody
lot of
like
people
that,
who
but
are not truthful.
See, I like hanging out with you because I learn things.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Well, I would tell you, but I would say that this is an opportunity to find out what your relationship is made of, and just
No,
be
you're right.
honest. If something's pissing you off, don't let it fester, because you will kill each other,
Yeah.
and there's just not enough police to come find
Hank.
all the bodies in your basement. So just be, work with each other. I think if you want to save it, do that.
That was an episode yesterday. A couple old dudes had buried their mom 40 years earlier that they found in their house.
Which one of these fantastic shows that have been on for 25 years was this?
It takes me a while to find. I'm in Kentucky, man. We find things later than normal.
Yeah, you know what? I got one, a really hot new show that you should check out. It's called I Love Lucy. I think they're running a whole bunch of it.
No.
There's also a Three Stooges. I think you'll be fond
Now,
of.
I
And
did
Petticoat
watch-
Junction, if I'm not
Have you watched
mistaken.
Jack Ryan?
No,
Okay.
that's on Amazon.
That's newer.
That's Krasinski, John Krasinski?
Yeah, Lori got me started to watch that.
No, I haven't
Trying to bring
seen. I
me to
want
modern times.
Better Off Dead. I think there's a second season of that I want to get into. I
I
don't know.
thought that was your autobiography. I didn't know. It really is.
All right, so
Yes.
I think we're at a point where maybe we go to show and tell. Here's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
Here's what I would, and correct me if I'm wrong.
All right.
All right. We try to map out the certain things that we want to hit on that have popped into our fat heads over the course of the week. We also know that no matter what kind of structure that we've built, at some point we're just going to have to wing it. So a lot of what you hear is just nonsense that popped into our head at the time, but we are capable of winging it. Keep that name of that segment in mind, especially if you serve wings at your establishment. That's all I'm saying. But the thing we always like to end with, I think, is show and tell. Because between everything that you've done, and for those who may be new to the program, the stuff that you've collected over the years, from
Got a lot of
the
stuff.
Post, but from the radio stations, all the sports memorabilia, me from different radio stuff, working at Bogarts, all these different things. We just wanted to show that to you and share it. And you're welcome to send pictures of stuff that you
Absolutely.
would like
Yeah, it's
for
cool.
show and tell to be part of this at Gamble Capital N Fin, where you're watching right now.
So you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, so now you mentioned the Post, and this goes way back. So I'm going to start with, this is some Bengals stuff. Now here you go. So we'll start with 7-Up salutes Cincinnati Bengals, right? And it's got some of their better
Boy, what
years,
size
some of
bottle
their
is that?
better years on the back here. They used to make bottles like this, right?
How many ounces is that? 16.
16.
So that's a full
16.
pint.
Yeah.
Huh.
And here you go. This has still got the beer in it. I wouldn't advise drinking
Oh,
it.
man.
But this is Houday. Now this was the good Bengals. And then, so when I worked at the Post, so Jim Borgman was the editorial cartoonist for the Enquirer for years, outstanding. So too was Jeff Stahl,
Jeff Staller,
who
yeah.
did it for the Post. So I would, every day, always check out the editorial cartoons. And he had this one. And I had him give me the original. And it says basically, it says "We suck," and it's a T-shirt, and the person behind the counter is of course Bengal related,
Yeah.
and it says that's our most popular selling item. When I saw that, I laughed out loud. I went back to Stoller's office and I said, I gotta have that.
This is the original ink?
That's
oh,
the
it is.
original ink. Yeah.
Wow, so his crop lines are
Correct.
there and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
that's great.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted to be. If I could be anything else,
Yeah, you would have been good at
we'll
that.
hand this to our director, Michael. Thank you, or Matthew. Thank you very much.
You get them confused.
I do. I always do, and it's
Yeah.
basically it boils down to the hair.
Well, and Lori's stepfather, Don Schumacher, who I started my career in marketing with,
Right.
Boardman did he's
you,
got a couple editorial cartoons about the events. He did the Frozen Four, the Women's Final Four. They came here, and he's got the originals from Jim Boardman
Yeah,
too. That he did too, but that's one I couldn't resist. So you got the good Bengals, and then last year you could have brought this out and said, "Here we are again."
Well, and again, hopefully the NFL gets up and underway, because I mean the Reds had such high hopes for this season. You know, obviously with Burrow and everything with the Bengals. I mean, I even have high hopes to see what happens with them.
Yeah.
and
Well,
you
it's
want to
at least-
see them at least have that opportunity.
It's
to do something.
intriguing to watch. Here, I don't want to block myself on the commode here, so I'll make sure I move that.
All right.
What is this?
This is something. I don't know if do you know the Horror Hound Festival? Nathan Hanneman.
I recognize
his
the
team,
name, I
Horror
don't know
Hound
much about
magazine,
it.
but they have this festival, and it's like a Comic-Con, but it's for people that like horror movies. So
Okay.
they'll bring out the biggest stars like Robert Englund and Freddy Krueger and anybody in sci-fi, but mostly horror. And they would come out to different. In Indianapolis, I think he hosts one. There's one at the Sharonville Convention Center, and I went one year when The Walking Dead was just taken off, and they had a bunch. They had Norman Reedus and Sarah Callis, I think is her name, who played Rick's wife, and then
Now, I was wrong because I guessed that this was, but the other one that I guessed was all white, correct?
yeah, well, it was all white because it was the other one of these. It was Daryl from Run DMC.
right? But we were up at Bogarts when he was there, and
Yeah.
he got that signed.
And he signed this one. But Scott Wilson, God rest his soul, who played Herschel,
Oh, wow.
who, I don't know if you know, they had to cut his leg off because he got bitten. So they had
Really?
to cut his leg off down below the knee. So he was on crutches, or on a crutch for a good portion of the series. And then John, I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head. But I got this one signed by Sarah, who played
Okay.
Lori, Rick's wife, by Norman Reedus, and then John, whose name I just
all
can't.
from The Walking
All
Dead.
from The Walking Dead, and then Scott, who played Herschel, and he was the last one that I got. And everybody's like, why this, of all things? And when I went up to Scott, I pulled this out, and he looked at me and he said, why do you have that for me to sign? I go, well, you don't need it anymore. And it was a right shoe, because that's the leg that he had cut off in the shoe.
God, you can't even get an autograph.
No, but that's why these autographs mean something to me.
Yeah.
So I'm the only person that probably ever asked him to autograph a shoe, but I've got
You're not probably.
Scott Wilson's autograph, Herschel, Norman, John, and John played the Punisher also. God, what is it? I'll think of it. I'll think of it later. I'll call you in the middle of the night and tell
Please
you.
do.
And then
I won't be able to sleep.
Lori Grimes. So anyway, that's my show. Oh, I have one other thing. One other thing
Sadly, I know I have an inkling of what this is.
for show and tell.
Should I just leave and go check the window well now?
Before we wrap things up, yeah, if you
Jesus.
like, I'll go put my head in it if it's flooded. Before we go, part of my graduation gift to my daughter was,
What kind of gift would this be?
well, here's why. I gave her the customary things and a card and gift cards and different things here. Got her some Frisbees to use hopefully on the quad in the fall when
Okay.
she goes away to school. But one thing I said, well, here's something that we can do. You and I can go do something. When I had long hair, she threatened for years to come in and cut it off while I was asleep. And that's the only reason I didn't cut it, because I found out it irritated her. So I did say to her, well, now that this is all going on, I'm going to give you a chance to mess with my hair. Now, you and I talked about me shaving it here today, but
Now,
we're obviously not
it
going
should
to
be
outside.
duly noted, though, too. She has dyed her hair
What are you
recently.
talking about?
Right?
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. How about that? You gave it away, Fred.
No, she's dyed her hair.
I know, but this was the surprise, you see. It doesn't matter. I'm just playing. Because this is the substrate for what's coming. It's going to be bright red this time next week. And then we're shaving
Honestly,
it.
you do look like Guy Fieri.
No, I don't.
A little, I'm
Well,
not
look at
gonna
that.
lie, you do.
No, that's not bad, right? Well,
Not
I'm
bad.
skinnier. Am I skinnier?
I don't know.
My Lift the Medium t-shirt.
The
My Lift the 2X
medium
t-shirt.
t-shirt you have on,
Yes.
maybe not.
I'm going to cut this down into a crop top for
Oh.
next week, you son of a bitch. All right, so there it is. This
You
is
know,
my
I gotta
my
be
show and tell.
Totally truthful. It doesn't look that bad.
Well, it's kind of, somebody called it chicken butt orange.
Now
Or chicken
red.
butt yellow.
Now red.
Red's going to be bad.
It's gonna be awful.
Red's going to be bad. Good Lord. Now I'm seeing this in the monitor. I think it's time for us to go. This is not good.
Don't forget though, Thursday night, 9 to midnight, the reality check on 700 WLW. We've got some Lonesome George Vogel again for last call, and he's supposed to join us here June 1, little bourbon tasting while we do our thing. And Garen Colvin, the president and CEO of St. Elizabeth Healthcare, will be our special guest at 9:20. And so we got a couple other guests we're working
Yeah,
on
we
too,
will add
so.
to that as well.
We will.
And we will do that, as you mentioned, Thursday nights, 9 to midnight, 700 WLW.
Like and share. Tell a
And
friend.
share. Like and share. Right now, I know our normal executive producer is losing her mind.
Right.
Because we never did say like and share.
We did like and share. We need beer, food, wings.
Clearly, maybe some other clothing options.
Oh, God.
Maybe a hairdresser. Who knows? We'll see you next Monday.
Bye.
Larger Than Live from the House Gamble here in the Thunderdome on the back 40. He's Gamble. I'm Finn. And this has been Larger Than Live and the Reality Check.